Good evening, and welcome to another impromptu episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your improvising and impertinent host, Voice of Doom. Hello. Okay, I'm back again. Even though this is a total waste of time, I will do it for the benefit of my fan. And I've been looking at YouTube lately and I'm getting sick of it. I'm bored with it. Nobody's doing anything. And they're not reporting real news. And I watch other podcasts, which are in my ilk, and they're boring. I don't find them entertaining. It's the same old commentary, insipid commentary by people who have 2.1 million subscribers, and they get 50,000 likes in the first 10 minutes that they put their stuff on. So somehow these people are getting out there and I'm getting nowhere, and I don't care. If you think I care about fame and fortune, you are sorely mistaken. But it's still disappointing because I think I'm one of the wisest people on this planet and nobody is listening to me but Nick. And I've resigned myself to the fact that there's only a few select people on this planet who will benefit from my wisdom. And that's just the way it is. Maybe it'll go better next lifetime. But I wanted to kind of reiterate and encapsulate and summarize what I've been saying for the last almost 2 years in over 300, almost 350 diatribes. The overarching theme, the common thread of all the problems we face today. Besides the obvious thread that people are not revering the mystic law of cause and effect, and they will reap the rewards of their delusions. But I look at all these problems and there's one overarching theme. I look at the division between people on whether children should be sexualized or not. People that deny they're being sexualized, even though they're doing it before our very eyes. An education system that is as debauched and corrupt and absolutely in the throes of evil. I look at pandemics, I look at future pandemics, I look at former pandemics, I look at gain of function, I look at the truth coming out and nobody caring. I look at a border that is in chaos and no one notices unless it's reported, so I guess no one's coming over right now because we don't see it on the news. We'll only see it every so often when 10,000 people all are there at once. I look at wars, I look at rumors of wars, I look at Ukraine, I look at the China Sea. I look at a government that is as corrupt and base, and I don't use the word base as in how they use it now. A based person is someone who has morals and values and speaks up against them, only to be torn down and told they're haters. But a based, corrupt government, which is as evil as any we've ever seen on this planet. And I look at impunity, and I look at complacency. And there's one overarching theme, and that is the main goal of the powers that be. And it's worldwide genocide, okay? Worldwide genocide. And it's so obvious to a sentient human being that they want to kill 6 billion people. They don't want to do it, obviously. If they have to start bringing out dump trucks and garbage trucks in order to collect bodies, then people are going to stand up and take notice, finally, right before they die. They're going to go, wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay. Worldwide genocide. 6 billion people have to be removed from this planet in order to make it sustainable for the rest of them. And the rest of them will live in luxury. And AI will do their bidding. And it's so obvious that they're killing people right and left, and then it's going to accelerate. Now, my main concern is the logistics of worldwide genocide and what the motives of the leaders, the so-called leaders in this kakistocracy of a planet we have, what are their motives? I've already explained in earlier diatribes that leaders such as Genghis Khan, such as Attila the Hun, such as name anybody, name any oligarch, they wanted to create dynasties for themselves, for their future generations. That was their goal. They knew they couldn't live forever, so they were thinking about the future. And I have said before that I don't know about the motives of Xi Happiness or Vlad the Mad or Petri Dish and his ilk. I don't believe they want to create a legacy for their offspring. I believe they want power now. And I believe they want to achieve their imperialistic goals now. They don't want to build toward the future, because there is no future. Now, we talked about Xi Happiness. We talked about why he doesn't care about his own people and why he will gladly sacrifice every last one of them to achieve his aims of being in a very cushy fallout shelter when the rest of the world is being atomized. He doesn't care because the Communist Party ruined his family. He's an extreme sociopath. He rose to the ranks, to the top of the heap of the very party that he despises. And if you don't believe me, just look at his biography. I don't want to go over that again. Go to Megwo, one of my best diatribes, on my best playlist, and you will see exactly why. Now, Vlad the Mad wants to reconstruct the Soviet Union, and at the rate he's going, he's not going to get it done in his lifetime. But how mad is he? If we push him too far, will he unleash a nuclear holocaust? I think it's very possible. Let's not talk about what used to be the United States. We don't have a government. We have an insane asylum running this so-called country. They're mad. They're absolutely insane. How many examples can I give you? I'll just give you the latest example. Petri Dish puts the LGBTQ flag in the middle and the American flag to the side. It's very symbolic, and it was intentional. We are going to put ourselves to the side of this much greater movement, this mandala of acceptance, of inclusion. We want to include everybody except for the people that disagree with us. They will not be included. They will be ostracized. They will be beaten. They will be jailed. There's been backlash against Pride Month in school by students. And they're being told in no uncertain terms that their opinion is not valid and is not allowed, and they should just shut up if they want to have a future, which no one has. Well, I'm saying that worldwide genocide isn't going to be in 20 or 30 or 50 years, but what they can do is just keep the ball rolling just in case there isn't a nuclear holocaust. They can keep the ball rolling by not having any more offspring. How do they do that? Well, They castrate males. They attach phalluses to females. They give hysterectomies to females before the age of 10 and curtail procreation. So you see how it's all tied in. So there's only one theme. Everything else is an offshoot. So obvious. They are not only saying it's not really environmentally wise or considerate to have kids in this day and age, but they're making sure that no one's going to have kids by telling them that they are not the sex that they were born as, that that's a social construct and they should change immediately. That's going to solve all their problems, and I'll tell you firsthand, it doesn't. I will tell you from firsthand experience that trying to change your physical attributes to match your mind is not going to work. And eventually everybody will realize that, but they won't do studies on the effects of certain procedures or the effects of certain choices that people make. They never do. They don't study why there are mass shootings. They don't study the psyche of mass shooters. They don't study the long-term effects of having a sex change before you're 10. But we're seeing it, aren't we? We're seeing an awful lot of people that are now being canceled saying how they made a terrible mistake. And I'm not even going to say what everybody else is. I'm not putting down. I have compassion for people. I'm not going to have caveats. Everybody deserves to be happy, everyone. And if they choose a path that leads them to evil, then they should be gotten rid of very quickly without any formalities or whatever. Just get rid of evil as quickly as you can. Now, we are perpetuating evil. How do we do that? Well, it's obvious. We have a rigged so-called governmental system going from the top to the bottom of the justice system, where you can't prosecute certain people because they put the power of prosecution into certain people's hands. And those certain people have an agenda. So they are not going to prosecute criminals. They're not going to prosecute Petri dish. They're not going to prosecute anybody. They're not going to prosecute Zelensky or any of these other people, because their agenda is to prosecute people that go against their agenda. So I will conclude by saying worldwide genocide is the overarching theme of every problem you see. And even YouTube is part of the problem, because they perpetuate their propaganda, and they filter certain things out and they filter certain things in so that people think a certain way. There's got to be some major changes, and I think the best thing to do is to have a conflagration, destroy everything, nihilism, up with nihilism, because it's all got to be destroyed, and we can start again around our campfires, and we can talk about the mystic law, and we can talk about the writings of Nichiren. And as a coda, I will say, saw snippets and snappets about the AI is going to write a new Bible for us because they know much better. They can put it all together and write a new Bible. And there's people up in arms about it because they say the Bible is the Word of God, and I dispute that, but that's just my opinion. From what I've read, it doesn't sound like the Word of God. And if God wanted us to know stuff, why doesn't he write it down himself? He's up there in his robe with his belt made out of rope and his sandals and his long beard, going, well, you can't write anything. I'll let somebody else do it. So, everybody can do what they want. I've chosen my path. If I'm wrong, then I'll suffer the karmic retribution for it. But I don't think I'm wrong. So One thing about me is I kind of believe in my own brilliance. So, let AI write a new Bible. I'd be really interested in reading it and seeing what AI has to say about our spiritual well-being and what the best path to take is. Really interested. So we'll leave it there. I think I've said enough, and enjoy what's left of humankind. And bye.